The last time I did play it was when they added Mac. I honestly don't forget how many new people there are at this point, but I figured I would just go. I actually found this one that was as updated as it could be for the last time I played, actually, so it works out. But all of these rogues, obviously, depending on the map, the game mode, and your teammates, and what you've bought, can be up and down. But I'm just going off based off most consistent, most viable, their loadout, their ability, how useful they are to themselves or the team. Yeah, so we're just going to go with that. So we'll just start with who I believe is technically the newest Mac. I got to put him in C. I think his ability is lackluster. I think it takes a little bit too long to use, and it's not consistent or viable at all times. His loadout and guns are good though, for sure. I think that's definitely what carries him. But I think abilities obviously play a huge role in this game. And unfortunately his is just not really there for me. So yeah. Seeker, I have to put in the same. I think his ability is not the best. Obviously, you can hit people with scans, you know, whether it's with Dallas or other scanning devices and whatnot. But aside from that, the only thing that virtually carries him is his weapon. But I don't think his ability is always viable or always that useful, especially, you know, you get to shoot it once, there's nobody there, or you ping someone and nothing really happens. Like, it's just not, you know, it's just not really the move. So again, I think the only thing that keeps either of these people out of D is their weapons. Their weapons and loadouts not that bad. Probably, honestly, I'm not going to put anybody in D because nobody's that bad, but these are definitely D tier worthy, I would say. So let's go on the other side, throw in Ronin. Ronin is S for sure. She is the best champion in my opinion, or rogue I would say, and the biggest reason why is either gun that you use, she's going to shred you. She has a solid kit, loadout, grenades, and I would say her ballistic knife is one of the most useful abilities in the game, whether you stick somebody with it, down them, whether you set it up as a trap and blow them up or hold off a spot so they can't come. You know, I think she's one of the most useful rogues, sorry, in the game for sure. And she's definitely super fun to use, in my opinion. Phantom, I'll give Phantom a B. I think a solid Phantom can honestly win you some rounds if she's at least hitting her shots, not necessarily headshots, but obviously you want the headshots, but you know, 70 damage to the body makes it very easy kill for anybody else. But I think that she has the worst secondary pistol in the game. I know that I believe they gave her Vi's AR. I don't know if that's still a thing or if they swapped out her DMR that she used to have back or what. But I also don't think she's super useful in her loadout kits as well. I don't really think she has great perks for her. I think she's literally just based off hoping that whomever is using her can hit the snipes, or just not. Glitch, I'll put in C. He's just not, again, I feel like everybody that's in C is that their ability is just terrible. I'm sure at this point, and I haven't played in a while like I've said, I'm sure at this point they have changed around his ult or buffed it in some type of way. Obviously it is useful if you hit it. The problem is it's in a relatively small area. It gives the rogues a chance to get out because it tells them they're being hacked, and it's only for a few seconds, so it's nothing insane. And yeah, I would say overall his kit and loadout is not awful, but I would say it's not really the best either. I think he's just pretty lackluster. I think he can kind of win you some games or cause a lot of disruption, probably more than these two for sure. But I think overall there's just way better rogues to use than him. Lancer. I think I'll give Lancer the nod to A. She might be a B, but partially she was my original secondary girl for sure. This is OG babe right there. But Lancer, being able to essentially not hear her at all when she's ulting and she has insane movement speed with it is great. Her kit is a little hit and miss as far as her perks, and I don't think her guns are too amazing. She does have a Simtex, which is, you know, pretty good, at least in this game, as far as if you have a grenade or Simtex, it's pretty good compared to all the other crap. But I think what keeps her down is that her overall kit is not that amazing, and her ult can sometimes be wishy-washy, but at least you can use it, you know, multiple times per round, so there's definitely some nasty things you can do with her. There's definitely argument for her to be an S, and definitely argument for her to be lower as well. Anvil. I think I'll give Anvil an A, and the biggest reason I think is just because there's nothing that's awful about him. I think his ability can be useful to at least cut off or hold down an area as he should. I think his LMG is very, very solid. The fire rate on that LMG is honestly like SMG worthy almost. As well as his perks and having a C4 and everything, I think he's overall solid choice for yourself or to have him on the team. I'm never super mad about having him. The only bad thing that can come from Anvil is if he puts his barricade in a shitty spot. So that's basically it. But I would say he's a solid choice. But I wouldn't put him in S. I don't think there's anything that's like, oh my god, put him there about him. But I think he's definitely a solid choice to use and hold down some stuff. I'm gonna go Vi and B, and I would say the biggest reason why is I think she's just a little lackluster, honestly. I think her ult, while it can force people to move or hold down an objective or get one, I think it doesn't overall help you too much. It doesn't really give her that much more health. And though it might take away their max health that life or that round, it's usually nothing crazy. Like, you can definitely still win a fight. Plus, you know, like, again, they can just respawn, they'll have full, so how viable was it? Plus, I would say her overall loadout is not that bad. She has a decent gun, she has decent perks, but I don't know. She might get bumped up to A, but I think overall her ult is just it's not as meaningful as it should be. I think it's more of just a bothersome thing, so it forces people to do something about it or not, which can be a huge problem. I'll give her the A spot. Kestrel. Kestrel I'm going to give to B. Her guns are very, very good. I would say she has two solid choices no matter which way you go. I think her grenade and perks are decent for sure, but I think her ability is just very hit or miss. As far as I know, you can only use it once per round, maybe twice if you can get it off. If you can use it more than once, it's a very slow regen or cooldown, whatever you'd like to call it, so at most probably twice. But I think that's it's not that viable all the time. It's very inconsistent, or you know, it's not as useful as a lot of other abilities. But again, her guns are very, very good, and the rest of her kit is not awful either. Fixer, I'm going to give to A, and the biggest reason why, and a lot of you Phantom people are going to be like, oh, you know, he's still a sniper, you should put him lower. The biggest reason why he's better than Phantom, one, because he has smoke grenades that he can see through, which is valuable. Two, he can literally shoot his sniper rifle in rapid succession, both bullets, quick as shit, to knock you instantly if he doesn't just headshot you with the first bullet anyway. And his secondary pistol is the best pistol in the game by far. Insane amount of bullets, insane amount of damage, and insane amount of not shootability, but you know, it shoots as fast as you click it. Some pistols, you know, are slower. That one is instant responsive, so it will shred you instantly. And then his perks are but I think having a sniper rifle that you can shoot that fast twice to down people is honestly disgusting. And again, if you pull up on him, his pistol will probably at least keep up with whatever gun you have for the most part, which is disgusting. Talon, I like my boy, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think I have to put him in A. I think having a recon for area, always knowing where they are, is very, very useful in this game. He has a C4, which can be useful even more so with his radar dart. I think the problem is that his guns are not that great, and I don't remember his perks being super insane either. I know that he has the life drain one, I believe is the name. When you kill somebody, you get health back, which is solid. Which this is a lot of shitting on him, but I think overall, as a team player, he's one of the best, being able again to have a recon dart out in any spot is good in this game, and it goes through walls and everything, so you can see just the whole area where everybody's at. And his kit is decent enough for him to at least be viable in a 1v1 90% of the time, I'd say. So it can be, he can be very useful for sure. Sigrid, I'll put Sigrid in B, and I think the biggest thing that carried her into B is because she has the same pistol that the Fixer does. She can just shred you with it. It's the best pistol in the game for sure. Plus her having the shield in front of her makes her very hard and annoying to kill most of the time. Plus the adrenaline shot can definitely help her and save her at times. But I think overall, having to be essentially in melee range or have the shield in front of you and just showing your head can honestly be somewhat of a downfall as well. Obviously you're blocking your body, which is the biggest part, though, so they'll, you know, most likely at least hit that a few times, but I think she has a big upside if you get good with her, and a big downside if you don't, or whomever's on your team doesn't know how to use her either, so I'll just leave it with that. Dima, I'm going to give to A. I don't think I can put him in S. I think the biggest reason I can't put him in S is because he is so destructive that he'll probably down some teammates in at least once a game. I think he's easily the most fun to play. He is S tier as far as fun to play. Just shooting his grenade launcher, blowing everything up is awesome. He has a grenade on top of that, and both of his guns are solid uses as well as his perks. He literally has no downside, but I think the biggest problem to him is that he is probably the most successful team killer in the game, or at least most consistent, which isn't necessarily, it's definitely not a good thing, but you know, it's not always going to happen, but you just definitely have to be mindful with it, where you're throwing stuff and where you're shooting your grenade launcher. But I think at certain times he can be shut down pretty easily. I don't think his guns are always the best, at least as far as competing with some of the other guns in the game, and I think as well as yeah, I don't know. I can't put him in S. Even though he's arguably my favorite, I think he's just he doesn't have the oomph to get him there, I don't think. But he's definitely a solid choice, especially if they're always grouped up and they're doing nothing about it. But he can also be shut down with like one trench trophy system. You know, it basically gets rid of Dima. So there's a little bit of downside to that as well. And actually, since we're talking about Trench, so Trench originally was terrible. I would put him in D tier, honestly. But they have buffed him a bunch since release. I don't know where any of these people stand at this point in the game's life, but I would give him now probably an A, mostly because both of his guns are viable choices for sure. He can shut down any throwables or anything because he has two tacticals. And now his barbed wire is a little bit more of a problem for the enemy team. I don't think he's a S, mostly because I believe the barbed wire still bothers teammates in a way. And I do think that though his guns are good, I think they can be outshined by a lot of other ones. And I think he's probably just the best for defending an objective. And if he's not defending an objective, then he's just not the best choice. But he can definitely hold down an objective by himself, no problem, and be most of the time successful. So he's definitely a solid choice now, or at least, you know, last time I played. Again, I don't know where all these people are at now, but let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Dallas is difficult. I think I have to give Dallas the nod to A. So his revolver is hit or miss. If you hit people with it, you'll clap them. If you don't, you only got 6 bullets and you're gonna get fucked up, especially on the pistol rounds, obviously. Or then if you just, you know, press Y if you really need to during a fight, it's hit or miss. His lever action gun is questionable. His AR is not that bad. His perks are okay. He doesn't really have great tacticals, but the biggest thing that Dallas can do is his ability and what his ability does. So he can mark someone for a couple seconds longer than, you know, like Seeker. Well, I would say probably about the same amount as Seeker marks someone. And you're like, well, why isn't he down here if he's so much shittier? The problem is every time that Dallas downs someone, he can then pop that ability again. So he can constantly send out recons to find you, essentially. Constantly, you know, reveals you, so long as he's downing people. but at least he guarantees a reveal. Seeker does not. Dallas will reveal anybody, one person, so long as not everybody has the non-reveal thing, which I think they took that out. I think it's like less time revealed, but either way, he'll reveal someone, no matter what. Seeker will not. It's not a guarantee, at least. And then every time Dallas downs someone, he can then pop his ability again to reveal whenever he wants. So, honestly, the later the game goes, the fact that he's still alive and hasn't revealed anybody makes him even more scary. Or if he's just doing that great to where he's downing people enough and just constantly revealing you, he's a problem for sure. Dalia, I'm honestly gonna put Dalia in B. I think the idea behind her is fantastic. So her ability is for her to link with someone, and her linking with someone gives them that passive ability. So Lancer's passive ability is if you dodge roll, her gun is auto reloaded automatically. So that's nasty for two people to have that. And the fact that she would be linked with Lancer, so long as Lancer goes down and Dalia is within X amount of range, I think it's like 25 meters, no matter if it's through walls or anything, Dalia can then revive her automatically. And it is faster than Saint's revive, I believe. So that's great, and her guns are solid. The problem is that whomever she links with can be a huge downgrade to Dalia. Not necessarily downgrade, it's never a downgrade, but it can't always be that useful. As well as you basically have to butt buddy each other the whole time, because if that person goes down and or gets finished, then you basically waste your free revive that you would get from them. Now you still always have that passive that whole round that you've linked with them, which is great, but again, that heavily depends on who you linked with, and that person is linked the whole round no matter what game mode either. So I think she has a possible huge downside, though her kit is very solid. She has a nasty loadout, she has nasty guns, and her viability is always useful. Even if you have a Saint or you don't have one and you want revives, she's solid, but I think she's a little on the downside as far as not being able to revive the whole map like Saint can, as well as her passive is whoever she's linked with passive, which is a little meh. Especially depending on who you link with, it might not even be viable for her. So since we're talking about revives and Saint, I will have to give Saint the S tier. I think his guns are solid. He has a C4. He has decent loadout, and he's the only person in the game that can revive a teammate in the entire map. Can it be destroyed and stopped? Yes, obviously, but I think he is definitely one of the best choices in the game. Always, you're never going to be mad that you have a Saint on your team, for sure. So, yeah. Chalk, I'll have to put an S too. This man is absolutely disgusting. Has a fantastic gun, and his SMG. The shotgun's not that bad either. His perks are insane as well. He has a Simtex on top of that, which is great. And you might be thinking, oh well, everybody has like some type of throwable, but like in this game, smokes or Molotovs are iffy, but honestly, if you have like a grenade or a Simtex like that puts you up another level, I would think. C4 is iffy, but obviously grenades and stuff are better, so you can throw them. But his ult is even nastier because he can give himself so much more health than everybody else, or he can just naturally pick himself up off the ground, which is great as well. Now, obviously, that can be stopped if somebody just comes up and beams you and kills you while you're trying to revive yourself, sure. But I think the ability to do that, the ability to essentially give yourself health, whether you're going for a push or you're kind of getting shot and they're pushing you, you can, regen your health. And his overall kit, whether, gun, tactical, perks, it's all top tier loot, essentially, in my opinion. So he's definitely worthy of the S tier. Scorch, my girl, saved the best for last. She can't be S tier, unfortunately, but I will give her the nod to A tier. I think she is one of the most devastating team killers in the game, or just 1v1 killers for sure. But I think that's heavily dependent upon her ability. I think her ability very much controls her. I think she has great perks. The Molotov is, and she doesn't take fire damage either, so no matter what in the game, you can run through enemy Molotov, the enemy Scorch can, ult Scorch you, and you not take extra fire damage, because you don't get hurt by fire. Just a little helpful. Throw your Molotov down, run right through it, push them anyway. And her SMG is obviously one of the best guns in the game with Ronins. But the biggest reason I can't put her in S is it is hard to always be able to pull off her ultimate. And even if you do, it only lasts a few seconds, as it should. But I think she is too easy to be shut down in the sense of if you hear her ulting, or you start getting shot at or whatever, it's very easy to down someone with Scorch when she's ulted, but I think being able to hear it, as well as that's her only thing that makes her that much more better over you, I think if she can't pull that off or ult correctly, or get the ult off in time, I think that makes her about as even and normal with everybody else, aside from that SMG being one of the best guns in the game. But let me know what you guys think. I know there's some new rogues out for sure, like Umbra, and I don't even know some of the other ones. But honestly, Mac was the last time I played, so I actually thankfully found this list, so this was the most viable for me. So let me know what you guys think, where you guys would place them. And honestly, again, depending on the situation, the map, your teammates, game mode and everything, a lot of these can be switched around, but this would probably be the most consistency that I've seen from myself playing as all of these rogues, as well as what I've seen from teammates, and also what I've seen from enemies, and how how devastating they can play some of these rogues. So let me know what you guys think, and thank you for watching. And let's end this motherfucking stream, because it's hot as shit.